Hey everyone, Damien the Kung Fit Coach here. Today I'm going to be answering a question asked by one of my students. Now, it may seem simple, but it's actually a really good question to ask. Just how far should we extend our arm in martial arts moves? Let's find out. So the easy answer is that you want to extend your arm as much as possible while still maintaining good form and power. That's a perfectly adequate answer. It tells you exactly what you need to know. The problem is, from a practical perspective, it also tells you absolutely nothing. Now you know by now that I like to give you information that you can actually put to use. So by the end of this, you should understand a principle that you can apply to all of your moves. First, let's start with some pretty basic ones: a block, a straight punch, and a palm. For our block, we need to think about what we are trying to achieve, and then put some different ideas to the test. To do this, we need something repeatable. I could get someone in to throw punches at me, but that will introduce a bunch of different variables, and I'm still not meant to have people in my house. So this stick is going to represent one of those friends I used to have, punching me should we ever meet again. With a block, we want to try and take an attack off of the line at which it's going to hit us. And the greater change in angle we can create, the more likely it is that it's going to miss. So we just want to extend our arm all the way out here, right? Wrong. In this position, we don't have much power because we're so far away from our body. That means a really powerful strike will intercept, but we won't actually have enough force to change its trajectory. If we block too close though, we don't create enough of a change. So we need a balance between range and power. As with most things, it's a compromise, and one in which taller people probably have a bit of an advantage, but there's not much we can do about that. Our best bet is to keep our arm in a structurally strong position so that the power can be well transferred. Handily, this is actually a little bit away from the body, with the arm lifted and the elbow flexed to a little more than 90 degrees. This isn't a hard and fast rule, and if you need to block in closer because of reaction times or the range you're fighting at, you would actually close this up a lot more. When it comes to a straight punch, we want to maximise our power and range whilst protecting the elbow joint. There's a saying in Kung Fu: straight but not straight, bent but not bent. So we want to extend the arm but not lock out the elbow, because that risks us injuring ourselves. But short of that, for most of our straight punches, we want the arm to be as straight as possible to maximise that range and make sure that we don't collapse on impact so we can get a good power delivery. There are a few exceptions, such as an overhand punch, where utilising a strong structure by having a slightly bent arm can significantly affect how much of our force is delivered to the target. It compromises range, but for the hard-hitting purpose of this punch, it's worth it. For our palms, things are a little bit more complicated, because we want to get that extension for power, but we also need to think about the alignment of our hand. Whether you are hitting with the flat of the palm or the edge, in order to get proper alignment of your hand, you need to keep the arm bent. Extending the arm too much will mean you hit with your fingers, which is obviously something you want to avoid. So extend your arm as far as you can, whilst keeping your fingers pointing straight up. When we start to look at other movements, the picture gets a bit more complex. Take Dambien, for example. With the twisting version, the power increases the further we get away from our body, just like with a straight punch. In actual fact, you've got hardly any power until you're near full extension. In contrast, the upwards version, as you get past vertical and your arm gets further away from your body, your power actually decreases. The same is true with hooks and uppercuts. So, how can we pick all of this apart into a useful guiding principle without me talking about every move ever? The key lies in the way the power is generated. We can generate power either through translation of our weight, by which I mean pretty much all of it moving in the same direction, or strictly through rotation. Straight punches, palms, etc. mostly rely on the movement of your weight to generate power. Yes, there can be rotation in there, but you are generally trying to get your weight behind the punch and the direction of your strike aligned with your body. With hooks, blocks, uppercuts, or an upwards Dambien, we're relying more on rotation, whether that be from the waist or the arm joints. For these, a strong structure is important because your weight is not sat behind the movement. This means that the arm needs to be more bent in order to create that strong structure and ensure delivery of your power to the target. So there you have it. Think about how the move generates power and you'll be well on your way to understanding how far to extend that arm. There are of course nuances, like with our palms and our overhand strikes, and there are exceptions which can be used effectively. But if we're talking purely about good form in a conventionally delivered strike, this principle holds pretty well. If you have found this insightful or useful, do give that like button a good hard Mabu punch. And if you've got any questions about fitness or martial arts, let me know down in the comments below. Even if it seems really simple, it actually might be a lot deeper than you think. That's it for today. Cheers, guys.